you again and welcome tonight in Jesus' name. Tonight we are dealing with questions that you viewers have been asking, and I did mention some times ago in one of the programs that the questions you write and you ask will take one of the sessions to answer them. And today we are privileged to have a discussion. We would want you to be part and parcel of this discussion as we answer the questions. If you have an extra answer to these questions, please be free to give it and to write it to us on our email, familyrebuild@yahoo.co.uk, or you can make a telephone call and give us your suggestions or your answers, or even ask another question, which we shall answer at a later stage on 0845 052 3757. May the Lord God bless you. Remember, our motto is any challenge plus God brings a change. And there could be some challenges you're going through, but if we involve God, we can have a change and experience a change, and your family will be better. You will enjoy strong Christian relationship with your brother, with your sister, with your husband, with your wife, and even with your children. Please listen, and you can be able to help that person, and they can also help you today. It may not be a problem to you today, but it may be a problem tomorrow. When you are equipped, you'll be able to overcome it. My husband always slaps me whenever we disagree, no matter how small the issue is. What can I do? In this case, even my wife. It is both, any spouse. Now, this is touching the issue on domestic violence, or is touching the issue of, hitting one another physically. It's touching on the issues to do with either beating or molesting. And I would want to say that the reason why a man and a woman come together to make a family is based on love. It is love that made you to marry your wife. It is love that you had that made you to accept to be married by your spouse. And if it has reached a point of disagreement, which is healthy to disagree, the things that we face on a daily basis allow us to disagree. Disagreeing is healthy because we don't reason the same way. We do not face the same things during the day. So sometimes as we live together, it is a must we will disagree at one point or another. But it is bad enough if we disagree with my wife and then I slap her, because that would mean I want her to accept whatever I'm saying without questioning. That is dictatorship. That is molesting. It is, ruling over. It is domineering. It's a spirit of domineering, which is a very, very bad spirit, equivalent to the spirit of witchcraft. And I would say that it is bad for you to hit your spouse, whether it is by slapping or by boxing or whichever method you may use. It is bad enough. This is the person you love. This is the person who is the mother of your children, the father of your children. And if you reach a point of physical confrontation to a point that you hit him or you beat him, that means you've stopped being rational. You stopped being reasoning. You stopped being a loving husband, a loving wife. And I believe that your relationship dictates that you treat your spouse also in the way that you'd want him to treat you. That is what we call golden rule. But you do to others the way you'd want them to do to you. I always ask the spouses who hit their spouses. If a husband beats the wife because of a mistake, I ask the husband, who beat him when he do the mistake? Or when he does the mistake, who beat the husband? Because the husband would remain senior or at a superior level, but he is able to beat the wife whenever the wife make a mistake. But then the husband is never beaten by anybody when he does the mistake. That is not sufficient. That's not good enough. It is probably going against one side without balance. It is imbalanced life. But I would want to suggest as Christians that fighting and physical confrontation, it is a primitive way of solving problems. It shouldn't be mentioned in our times, and especially within the Christian circles. We have other better methods we can use. We can use dialogues where we speak, where we talk together, where we look for the root cause of a problem. If we fight, we've not discovered the root problem, and the same problem may be repeated tomorrow. So there may be another quarrel tomorrow. But if we can sit down and look at where is a problem, what is the root cause of a problem, that may prevent tomorrow from being the same people who will be fighting. That may stop us fighting tomorrow, because we have seen where the problem is and we have resolved the problem. So it is not good for any spouse to hit, to slap, or to beat the other one because of disagreement. Use your disagreement to resolve the differences and to move to the next step. My husband does not help me pay the bills and does not like us to discuss finances. What can you advise? This is a woman who is very desperate, and you could be there and probably you are going through the same. Your husband does not want you to discuss finances together. And for this sister or this woman here, she seems to be the one who pays all the bills, and the husband does not participate. And I would ask myself, what kind of a husband is this? When man was created from the beginning, he was given mandate by God, but his husband is a provider. A husband meets the need within the family. And even though we are in a time where women are also working, but I believe it is through the headship and the leadership of a man that even what the wife is earning should be well utilized for the sake and the purposes of a family. It is completely bad if you are there as a husband, as a man, and your wife is even going out of her way and asking you if you can discuss finances so that you are able to know how to budget, you know the needs that you have in your family. If you don't discuss finances, you will not know how much money you've got for your family. You will not know the needs that are urgent and the things that are not urgent. When I teach this topic on finances, I always tell people it is good in families to distinguish between issues that are urgent and issues that are not urgent, and issues that are important and other issues which are not important. And I always tell people that if families do not discuss, they can always be dealing with issues which are not important and not urgent. And they treat them as though they are urgent because they have not discussed, they have not shared their finances, and there are some issues which are very important which may not be treated with urgency because you don't talk. And I would want to bring this to the attention of men. We've got to come out of that scenario where we think that what we have is a secret, is our secret, the secret weapon, where our wives need not know. I believe that your wife needs to know everything you have. Because when you write your will, you write a will, you take it to the lawyers. So your lawyers or solicitors know about all your about all your resources. They know about all your estate, about all your property. Yet your wife, who you have worked with, who you bring children with, who is your closest, doesn't know. That is unkind. It is irrational. And I believe that as men, we've got to quit from those zones. We've operated in them for long. We've got to come out now to the light, and we become transparent. We become transparent and accountable. If you don't discuss your finances, chances are you can become extravagant without knowing and without your spouse knowing. Your spouse will be assuming you have every money that you've been working for. But because you are extravagant and you don't share, you don't talk about your money, then you waste it. And then that is the loss of your family. Discuss your finances. I always advocate for family fund, where what you earn as a man, what your wife earns, you bring it together and form a fund which is a family fund. When you do your budgeting, knowing we need this, we need the other, together you have earned, together you use the money. You distribute the money to the needs that you have for your family. But it is bad enough if all the burden for your family rests on your wife. It's bad enough, completely bad. That's being irresponsible. And the man, you are the head of a family, you should even organize those meetings to meet, to discuss together with your wife, to discuss together about your needs and about your finances. Let us not burden one part. Let both of us discuss together. Let us see the needs that we have in the family and let us distribute the finances. Always remember, I say, save some money, use some money, and give some money. If you want to use your money wisely, you've got to know what to give. Give to other people who have need. Give to God, even what God needs. But also save some money. And also use some money for yourself. Don't be a miser, person who just earns so much, but you can't use it. Use it. When you die, you will never use it. You need it today. God bless you. My husband feels insecure if I talk to another man. This is a woman asking, whoever is a colleague or a friend, how can I help him? Because this brings a lot of problem at home thereafter. Right. I would really say that that seems to be strange because there is no way we are going to live on earth without talking to other people. And this husband seems to have a problem of suspicion. Probably we can use that word. He is suspicious, but when he sees the wife talking to another man, could be a colleague, could be a friend, could be a relative, probably who even the husband doesn't know, or even a stranger, the husband starts, having some suspicion. It is important that you develop such a relationship with your spouse, and that is where the bottom line is. You develop a relationship, you build trust in one another and with one another, such that whether you talk to somebody, because there's no way you're going to police one another. There's no way you're going to be like a policeman following your spouse wherever he or she goes. We talk to many people. We don't work in the same place. We board buses, we talk. We go shopping, we talk. And we cannot stop one another from talking. That would be primitive. It would be actually unreasonable, So the only thing that can rescue that man who is feeling insecure, it is to build security in his wife. And that one can only be built if he developed trust. He reached to a point of trusting the wife. But we have related so well with my wife. We have developed an open policy. I don't feel threatened when she is out of the house. I don't worry. I don't wonder what he is doing or she is doing. If you don't develop an open policy with your spouse, you will always be asking yourself, what is he doing now? Wherever he is, what is he doing? Because probably you have some suspicion. Or if your spouse has some unchecked behavior, which you don't address, which you don't confront, probably you are only aware that last week he made a telephone call, which, he was calling another woman. So this week when he is late, you are relating that even he is not making another phone call today. But as we said earlier on within the program, is if you find something that is unacceptable in your spouse, speak about it, confront it, not with the aim to fight, but with the aim to bring a solution. Through that way, you will be building trust in your spouse. When you are open, when you speak to your spouse and tell your spouse where you are going, where about yourself, when your spouse is aware, she won't be suspicious or he won't be suspicious of what you could be doing. When you are open, probably if your spouse asks you, who is that you are talking with, whether it's on the phone, don't hide. Sometimes why spouses become suspicious is, if my wife was talking on the phone, and when I come in, she stopped the phone, I'll be suspicious. Why did you stop? And she doesn't want to continue with that discussion. If tomorrow again she does the same, I'll start wondering, who is she calling? And whenever I come in, she stops. No, there is a way you can know whether it is the end of a conversation from the other side or your spouse has just cut the phone. So that one now need to be eliminated through open policy, whereby you are able to explain to your spouse, I was talking to my colleague, I was talking to my boss, we are discussing this. Let's take, for instance, students who are in the university. Sometimes we have discussion groups. Your wife could be one of the students, or your husband could be one of the students. And probably there's something they want to ask. So he will call somebody you don't know, because you don't know the students who they school with. And probably if he is able to explain to you, I was only consulting our group members about our discussion, because that your spouse is open, there is no cause of suspicion. You know, it only becomes suspicious if there is something that is not well explained, if there is something that is, is casting some level of doubt. But I believe that when we operate an open policy, it will eliminate this kind of problem, and it will build confidence and a trust between yourselves. What do you do if you have been faithful in your marriage and your spouse is unfaithful? Now, probably I would say, I think we had tackled part of that question when we are in the other series we were discussing earlier on, and we said that if your spouse is unfaithful, it is very, very hard to know why he became unfaithful. Very hard. Because he went to a woman, he left you as a woman at home. So he left one woman to go to another woman. To explain why he moved from this to the other one, that will be very, very difficult. Because when the spouses are found, that are discovered that they are going out, some of them, as we said, either they refuse that, they deny, and those who reach to a point of agreeing, they want to show some remorsefulness, which is good to show some remorsefulness. And they want to say, I wish I never did it. So it has the regret to go with it. I would say that if your spouse is unfaithful, don't first resolve in your heart that you're not going to revenge. Because I've met cases and people who have taken, upon themselves to revenge. But if he is going out, I also go out on the other side so that we balance. A problem and a problem will not solve a problem. So you need, and again, if one of you is foolish, it will be better if the other one is wise. Because if you put two fools together, the foolishness will be too much for your family. So if you find that your spouse is going out, for you to save your marriage and to save your family, build yourself a character. It is painful, and you feel a lot of pain within yourself, but your spouse has betrayed your trust. You've given all yourself to him or to her, and she has betrayed you. So have some time to talk to him. Express yourself. Tell him or tell her you feel betrayed. It is a time of emotions. It's time when people cry. It's time when people feel wounded and people feel hurt. But I would say it is not good to be quiet. Speak out with your spouse. Tell him how you feel cheated, how you feel betrayed, and how you really would desire if we can change his character, if we can change his pattern and his way of behavior. Talk about it and express your emotions. I've said, whether it is time to cry, don't hide your tears. Because sometimes you try to hide your tears that you don't feel affected, but deep within you, it is really burning. Express yourself the way you would want to express yourself because of a betrayal that has come in. Then discuss together with your spouse and set yourselves the expectation. Let your spouse know your expectations. He knows already, but he has forgotten. That's why he has gone on the other side. Tell him or tell her. But you really, because you are committed, you've committed yourself to him, you've committed yourself to her, you expect that you lead this kind of a relationship. Then check upon yourself. If there is anything that probably you are doing to contribute to his wayward behavior, is there anything that probably he can accuse you about? Because everybody who does sin always look for an excuse. Where can I hook myself? I went out because probably you refused to sleep with me. Eliminate, the grounds of accusation. Ensure that within yourself, there isn't anything that your spouse is going to come and pinpoint that the reason why he's becoming unfaithful is because you are absent or you are not available for him. Then let yourself, if your spouse is willing to talk and is open now, agree to set yourself some target, agree to give yourselves again, a recommitment, a promise, and don't wait until it goes again and then you renew the promise. Because we are given to each other until until death do us part. So the only good thing we can do is if we strengthen our commitment to each other. And I would want to really encourage you. Don't wait until there is a problem. That's the time to refresh yourself and to recommit yourself. Go on daily basis, reaffirming yourselves to one another. Reaffirming yourself to one another. And if now there is a temptation like this, as we had said earlier, even your spouse can help you overcome it. What do I do when my family seems to be my husband's biggest threat in our marriage? Well, that question probably I try to understand the way I read it, and the way I try to understand that is that my husband probably seems to have a problem with my family. That means the husband of his lady has a problem with his in-laws, and feels that the in-laws are causing a problem or a threat. And I would want to say that when we get married, a man marries a woman, they form a unit, a family unit, a nucleus family. But they also joined by extension to other family members, because the two of you had your parents, you had your brothers and sisters, your wife has brothers and sisters. Even though those are not the people who have gotten married, but they are near you, they are close to you. The people of my wife, the brothers and sisters of my wife, they are very close to her through blood. There's blood relationship. My people, my brothers and my sisters, have blood relationship with me. And they are very, very important to me. Very, very important to me. We grew together. We came from the same father and mother, and we know each other well. They are important to me. And it would be very bad if my wife now would want to separate me from my brothers and my sisters. It would be very bad if I would want to separate my wife from her brothers and sisters. Yes, we are married, but they remain her brothers. Even though she is my wife, they remain his brothers, her brothers and her sisters, through the blood connection. What we need to do is to develop, now, because I've married her, I've got to understand her family. I've got to respect her family members. I've got, to adapt them just like my other brothers. I've got to take her brothers and sisters like my brothers and sisters, because we are now becoming an extended family. We are becoming a unit now of extended family. And the only way that I'm going to have my wife feel comfortable and secure when we are living together is when she knows that her brothers and her sisters do not cause any trouble to me, or I do not cause any trouble to them. So if now I see that that family is a threat to me, that will be very, very unfortunate. I need to use my wife to remove the threat. I need to use my wife to remove the threat. And if the threat is coming because of issues that probably we are like, as the Africans who pay dowry, I know there are some times when a man, when he is getting married, he feels offended sometimes because either he was asked to pay some dowry which was too much, and or probably there are people who talk to him in a way that was not courteous, and probably he is feeling separated from that family, or there is undue demand from that family. I believe in the same way that we said the other question, through dialogue and through talking together with your wife, you'll be able to build bridges to connect each other to the family members. And even if there is one who is so problematic, when you discuss together, you will know what to do with him, how to handle him, and what to include and what not to include. Otherwise, I would say that that's what I would say for that. When you know the negativity that is coming from the other side, you shouldn't respond with the negativity. You should think of, how do I respond positively? If on the other side there are arrows that are being thrown to you, because you married their girl, you cannot throw an arrow to them. Respect demands that, and even our culture says that we've got to respect them. They have brought up their daughter and have given their daughter to us. So care for them, know how to protect them. But I would say that the best bridge into that family is through your wife. And the best way into my family is through me.